Homer. I'm wearing the shirt today. I'm gonna order more shirts. We got to get this. We got to get these shirts out to the audience. I think. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see here. Sandy is gonna put some LinkedIn profiles in the chat. Please do us a favor. Put your LinkedIn profile in the chat and connect with each other. And that'll be a spot where you can put questions and all that good stuff, or thoughts, or any kind of topics we can kind of cover today. So looking forward to it. Hope everyone's doing well. It's going to be a warm day in Redding, California. I can tell you that much. It's going to be like almost 90 degrees, 85, 90 degrees. Got out for a little run this morning. So wanted to be, oh, cool. We are live on YouTube. How fun is that? Blake, great job, man. That's awesome. Blake and Sandy from our team doing an awesome job. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn, I believe, as well. I'm going to give folks a couple minutes to come in. Hope everyone's doing well. Once again, do us a favor. Put your LinkedIn profile in the chat. Share it with each other. Sandy put up ours. And I am pulling up. Sandy, I did not get any time. I didn't get to that timeline because I was driving in. If you could just prompt me in the chat, that'd be awesome. That would be great. If my friend Melissa Eccleston is here from New Jersey, hello, Melissa, from Oaks Integrated Care. Sandy, I told you that Melissa was from New Jersey. Collingswood, New Jersey is where she's from. Melissa, absolute sweetheart. Got to meet her at AFP Icon in San Diego. We can talk about that. That was my first AFP Icon. I went as an attendee, which was really cool. That was so fun, actually, to not have to set up a bunch of stuff and be exhibiting 12 hours a day. But yeah, it was really cool. Sandy just put up just a quick link for the Hey Nonprofits YouTube channel that is coming along famously with Sandy and Blake's work. So appreciate that very, very much. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the Hey Nonprofits YouTube channel. Like the episodes that you like. Leave us a comment, a question. We can have some dialogue there as well. Sandy, get me going if you like. Oh, you know what? Sandy's going to pop up a couple questions. We had some pre-submitted questions, so I appreciate everyone that did that. Please use the chat function for any questions that you have for me. I think this is like the second time we've ever done this Ask Me Anything, and we're in between a few different series right now and some scheduled guests with the live Hey Nonprofits show. And we've got some really cool episodes coming over the next few Thursdays, so stay tuned for that. Hey, it's National Auctioneers Week, so I want to do a special shout out to our friends at the NAA, all of our auctioneer friends and partners. I hope everyone knows how grateful we are for our auctioneer partners. We're so grateful. We created an awesome, amongst so many other things, an awesome free resource called Charity Auctioneers We Love. Do me a favor, Sandy, pop that link for Charity Auctioneers We Love. Really, really cool free resource. If you are interested in finding a great charity auctioneer, a great fundraiser in your neck of the woods, take a look at that link. If you're an auctioneer and you would like to be listed, hey, it's free. So you can get on there and be listed and get some exposure to what you do. And hey, like I said, it's National Auctioneers Week, and we're so grateful for the relationships and for the NAA and all of the auctioneer partners and friends that we've had. I've been friends with some of these folks for the better part of a decade, almost exactly a decade, since I started working with some auctioneers. So really, really cool. So can't thank them enough. Sandy hit me with a question about the auctioneers, hiring a pro auctioneer. What are the top 3 things a nonprofit should look for when hiring a pro auctioneer? Wow, good question. There's obviously more than 3 things. I absolutely think fit matters because every event has its own uniqueness and atmosphere. So I think fit, like on a personality level, I think understanding how much time you're going to spend with that auctioneer pre-event and what they bring to the table to set the table, so to speak, from a consultative perspective. So, once again, fit, how much pre-event consultation you're going to get. It culminates in such a short amount and such an impactful amount of time night of. There's so much planning that can be done, really, really useful stuff that can be done pre-event. So I think that's a big, big piece. And I think a lot of great auctioneers are doing a lot of great consultative work. And then what should you look for? A track record. I think you should look for a proven track record, possibly video, references, the command that these folks potentially have in your room to raise as much money as possible. So I think once again, a track record. There's a lot of great newer auctioneers. There's a lot of phenomenal auctioneers have been doing it for a long time as well. So yeah, cost I think is probably of importance, not probably, but it is of importance. But good auctioneers aren't cheap, and cheap auctioneers aren't good. So that's definitely something to consider. Who is your favorite auctioneer? If you're not allowed to say Chris Hensley and Jordan Campbell, and that was a question that was submitted by our friend Dan Lyles. Who is your favorite auctioneer? I have so many favorite. They're like, what we got to do, Dan? We got to do. I'm gonna turn this into a different thought instead. We got to come up with some trading cards. You know what I mean? Some like tops trading cards for auctioneers. Get you to sign them all and give them away at events and stuff like that. Don't put me on the spot. You're so funny. Who's your favorite? Well, you're one of my favorites, Dan. And what's cool about what we get to do and working with the different auctioneers that we have the good fortune of working with is they become friends and family. We run a family business at HGA Fundraising. So it's really, really cool that we get to do that and travel around the sun with all these great organizations and these great partners. And yeah, put me on the spot. He's hilarious. Hope you're here, Dan. And if you are, thank you so much. Appreciate the question. Okay, another question from Sandy. How far in advance should we book an auctioneer, and what questions should we ask? Geez, these are great. These are really, really great questions. Put me on the spot first thing in the morning, as a matter of fact. How far in advance? As far in advance as you can, actually. When's the best time to plan your next fundraising event, your next gala, event, next fundraiser? The day after your most recent one ended. You know what I mean? So absolutely as far in advance as possible. What question should you ask? I kind of just touched on that a little bit, but I mean, are you available? What would make what would create a great event for our organization? This is where laying out a framework is like, this is what we've done. This is what we've been doing, and this is what we hope to do. And the feedback that you can get from a professional auctioneer on growth and all that good stuff. I think just laying out some of that framework, some of those questions. But yeah, are you available? Do you travel if they're from out of the area? But absolutely as far in advance as possible. Get these things, venue, of course, and dates all these things are super duper important, right? So auctioneers just as important, and create that relationship and get things nailed down as early and often as possible with all those things. So another good question. How do you get donors engaged before the event even starts? How do you get donors engaged before the event even starts? Most powerful fundraising tool that you have is your telephone. Absolutely making sure that you take previous attendees, data, table hosts, table ambassadors, all these folks. Make sure they're being contacted as far in advance as possible. And making sure that, once again, after your most recent event ended, you have a gratitude campaign in place where you're thanking them before you ever ask for money. And they're staying engaged throughout the entire year. Fundraising is not getting easier. However, effective fundraisers are getting better because they do it all. They pick up the phone, they send out the messages. All these things can be preordained and pre-planned. So it can kind of take the thinking out of it, right? We have the tools at the ready, so we can focus on the relationships, of course, and growing new ones. But yeah, I think that the easiest way to get donors engaged before the event even starts is by picking up the phone and calling them. Focus on the people and the money will follow. So I hope that helps. We have a question. I appreciate that. You are so thoughtful with thank yous and reach outs, and you have such a huge network of people now you are working with. How do you keep track of it all to ensure you show gratitude for clients, donors, staff, etc. at the right times? Wow, that's a good one. Well, MH, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You are so thoughtful with thank yous and reach outs, and you have such a huge network of people now you are working with. These things can be skills that can be learned. They can be taught. They can be shared. Thankfully, I have so many faults. Just so you know, I'm not great at following systems. Processes, all these things. However, but one of my gifts, I believe, that I just was given was being thoughtful and saying thank you. I think my parents really instilled like a lot of those, like just simple like manners and whatnot. I was in a family business. I worked at a restaurant from 11 to like 21. And I was in customer service. And so I was able to exercise those muscles at a very, very young age. So being hospitable and being thoughtful and, simple things like that came naturally, but I was able to test them and practice them daily without really even knowing it. You know what I mean? I guess. But these things occur to me naturally. I will also say that I noticed that because I'm really outgoing with my approach to gratitude and thank, even before gratitude even became like a buzz term, right? You know what I mean? Which I'm glad it's a buzz term, just so you know. But people talk about it a lot. I saw how people's response was when I was very, very young. I saw the response that I would get. It was usually very, very positive when I would be thoughtful and thankful with people. And it really, really was was something that I was able to exude in business as well, because whenever I was, you know, thinking of someone, or we did an event together or what have you, the thankfulness piece became just second nature to me. So I I if someone comes across my bow, or I see a message or something comes in, or like an event, I immediately just, I have a practice where I just reach out to people, right? So it doesn't sound scientific. A lot of the times, like I said, it's just like if I'm thinking of someone, I reach out to them. I I suffer from, getting in my own head and just like, oh, I'm thinking about myself and this and that. And I can get away from that practice. But that's few and far between, because I know where like home is, you know what I mean? And home is thanking people often. And when I think about them, I reach out. There are so many different cool ways that you can do that. We love the handwritten note. I think that's really, really lovely. And yeah, the phone call, the text message, whatever works for you. I don't, the part of that question where it's like, how do you keep track of it all to ensure you show gratitude for clients and our staff at the right times? I do it right away when someone, I see someone in the inbox, or, someone leaves a comment or what have you. I thank people, typically immediately. It's like, do it right then, right? I guess if we were going to get a little more scientific about it, it's like, if it occurs to you, do it right then. I carry around a journal with me pretty much everywhere I go. I think, writing those, okay, hey, I need to, if you're busy and, someone comes across your bow, but you're like, you don't have time to reach out to them right then. put it down in your journal, or write it down, and get back to it later on that day, and actually, I mean, time block it, if that works for you. I have found that, especially in our space, there's so many great people, there's so many great consultants and companies and fundraisers and people that are doing really, really amazing work, charitable work. And one thing I found that I think is could really be considered thoughtful and a piece of gratitude as well is, because our network has grown so much. I find, and I get a lot of joy, and I know the recipients do too, when I can make connections. I find myself sometimes just like getting lost in the sauce, so to speak, and just being like, I'm just going to connect as many people as I can today. Like, hey, you came on the pod, you have a pod. Hey, you all should meet each other. This will be amazing. You should know each other. Like, you do this, you do this. Oh, great. You should. And I think there's so many great connections that have yet to be made. And I think that it's something that's even more important to me now moving forward, because we have created that network, and I believe it's a responsibility, that we have as well, to make as many introductions and as many connections as possible. Uh, One of the hallmarks of what we do is put our best information out for free. That goes with introductions as well, and people that we know. So, long answer to a short question, but really, really appreciate it. Um, Sandy, okay, yeah, add your questions here. Okay, cool. Barb, let's see here. Please be sure to say thank you to your volunteers. We have started a monthly shout out on our social media recognizing a volunteer who has been nominated by a staff member. I think that's phenomenal. You know, that kind of stuff. I mentioned to you, like, I noticed when I was younger the response that I would get, when I would be so grateful and so thankful, and thought, and I was like, "Ah," and it's not cheating or anything like that, but it's like I really wanted that. Like, it made me feel good to see that I had that effect on people, and hopefully, like, shine a bright light on their day or something like that. I hope it doesn't sound corny, because it's very real. And like you said, Barb, it's like, be sure to say thank you to your volunteers. And then there you go. Here's the science part of it. Plan it out. Do a monthly shout out on social media. I think that's great. I think people love being shout out on, emails, social media. Once again, picking up the phone. Another big thing for me is no news is not good news. So, you think people know, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on the pods and on other pods and as a guest, and written about it, and this and that and the other thing. It's like, it's interesting, when you're like perfecting or trying to hone that skill. It's like, a lot of times the people that are closest to you, you don't thank enough. You know what I mean? So I think, like, I've said this example so many times where I'm just like, my wife does so much for me, and she knows I care, and she knows I'm grateful. But if I don't tell her, I mean, I'm like not even following my own rules. You know what I mean? It sounds so simple, but you can really start really, really close to home and then work your way out from there. So I hope that helps. Um, what if your donors are on the older side, Jonathan? That's a great question. Jonathan, give me some context. What do you mean? If your donors are on the older side. Um, I understand from a demographic perspective, but give me some more context about, as it applies to what, if your donors are on the older side. Because I think some things still ring true regardless of age and all that good stuff. But yeah, just want some more context, and then I can riff if you like. Sandy says we have a live call in. I don't know if we've ever done that before. um, Here we go. Oh, Elise, what's up?
Hey, I've never done this before either. So
How cool is that? That's awesome. It's, hey, good to see you, even though I don't see you, but thanks so much for calling in. Yeah,
just
that's
audio
awesome.
today.
That's awesome. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, how's your day going?
Good, really well.
Nice.
Spring has sprung in Northern Virginia, so it's
Beautiful.
really beautiful outside.
Nice.
And I'm loving the question and answer. I always love a good question and answer.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
you've sort of started to touch on my question, but I want to
Okay.
know why you got into this work with nonprofits and
Hmm.
the work that you're doing, and then the follow up to that is what keeps you here.
Mm, I appreciate that. So I will say that this work kind of found me as opposed to me finding it. That I think, you know what I mean? And I came from a hospitality background and um, quickly found out that there was hospitality background because we are for those that don't know, I'm one of the co-founders of HGA Fundraising, and we provide consignment items. Okay, well, if you would have told me 11 years ago, or asked me, pardon me, what's a consignment item, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. Right, so it wasn't like I was going to a ton of live events or auctions and this and that. I knew they existed, and I yeah, I think the easiest way to explain that, Elise, is I think the work found me. Okay, so I had experience with resort items and different packages, like I said, from a hospitality perspective, and I've always been really, really passionate about people and business and and growing things and also doing good work. So, um, I think at the end of the day, like I said, the work found me. Now, realizing that there was this big space and this big opportunity, um quickly I found out that I like to say, like, there was a deep rabbit hole, and we still don't know how far it goes, and I mean that in the most respectful and glass half full way. And we're so tickled that we get to do this work. We started, this work also gave me the opportunity to become a business partner with my best client, my best friend. It allowed us to start a family business. So that's what keeps me, for sure. A family business that we've grown. We have 20 team members. And something happened recently, actually, where I was reminded that it's very, very noble to start a company and to change people's lives. My life has gotten better the more we've grown and the longer I've been in this space, and that's definitely part of what keeps me in the space as well. The fact that we've had the great fortune of meeting so many amazing fundraisers and consultants and other business people, even competitors. Was just hanging out with, quote unquote competitors that are friends, that I got an opportunity to thank in person last year or earlier this week in San Diego at the AFP Icon. And I thanked them personally because they were nice to me when I was new. I just got the opportunity to meet you, and you've been super, super sweet to me since we met, and great to our team. And I don't want to the big. It's not the elephant in the room, Elise. I mean, there's so much work
Mhm.
that can be done. I also contend that this space, whether it's consignment, whether it's consultants, whether it's software, I feel like auctioneers. I feel like this space is still in its infancy, and I am really, really enamored with the potential that we all have, and the opportunity and the responsibility. There is a unique responsibility that we have with this work, and I'm very, very, very encouraged. Um, I'm encouraged because of the feedback that we get, the people that I'm meeting on a daily basis, and the work deserves it. This space deserves it. I've said this as well. I think there's been people that have come into our space that like look at it and go, "Oh, there's a lot of opportunities ripe for the taking." And our contention has always been, no, it's ripe to be served.
Mhm.
Especially, like for our like very myopic focus on great auction items. Um, there is a need, right? There's a need for your work, and I'm just also glad that we were able to create this network of people and these shows and what have you, so we could hopefully shine a light on it. And there's a lot swirling through my mind recently, and we were having some internal dialogue, my partner Jason and I and the rest of our team yesterday. Our intention is to put our best information out for free. It always has been that way. We're going to lead with kindness, and we're going to be loud, not to be obnoxious, but we're going to be loud. Yeah, I hope that helps. You got me rambling because it's just me up here.
No, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. It's
Yeah.
I always like to hear the origin stories, and you are such a powerful voice, and you're having an impact, and you're changing, you're shaping the industry, like you said. And I just like to always know where that comes from. So thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, that kind of feedback really, really motivates me, Elise. I really appreciate you. I told you the other day when we met too, my oldest daughter, her name's Elise too. So it's so cool. It's so cool to meet another Elise. And, hey, I'm not going to jump up real quick, but I am looking at um, I'm grateful that my parents were always, I grew up poor. Um, you know, uh, I don't think my dad even realized he was an entrepreneur. I just don't think he was a rule follower. And my parents were very, very hard workers. And we didn't have a lot, but they were always very, very charitable with their time. And when they could give, they would. And I'm looking at a photo. Maybe I will just go grab it real quick. But my parents always made it very, very important that we gave our time and volunteered. I'm looking at a photo. My dad and I coached a challenger division for developmentally disabled children, a team for 3 years in a row. And I'm looking at the team photo. Oh, geez, it's gonna make me emotional. But and like I'm in the town that I grew up in, and there's an organization as well that used to be in my building, and they've changed names a couple times, and they're still in business, and they help with domestic violence. And I remember I cracked crab at their annual crab feed uh, every February, and it was freezing and stuff and so like I still think about those things a lot. And Barb was just talking about volunteers and how important that this is a cool space. This, you know what I mean? Like it's like I said, if you would have told me like over 10 years ago, it's like, this is what you'd be doing. I was said far out. How did I get there? You know what I mean? Um, yeah, we're up for the challenge and I appreciate your kind words. So thank you so much for coming on, Elise. And we're going to have our show soon too. So
Yeah, I look forward to it.
all right. All right. Thank you. All right. Thanks for letting me ramble. Good stuff. Cool. Hey, Jonathan, getting back to your question. What if donors are on the older side? How best to engage and retain them, especially monthly givers? Fantastic. We had I think Sandy can grab the episode. We've done multiple episodes with Dave Raley, The Rise of Sustainable Giving. Dave Raley, amazing. Please, Jonathan and Sandy will put up as much information we can about Dave monthly giving and the crusade that he's leading for monthly giving. So you can definitely learn a ton from Dave and from some of the episodes that we've done and the book that he wrote, The Rise of Sustainable Giving. Really, really good stuff. So there's a lot of detail there about staying in front of people. What's really cool about monthly donors, monthly givers, is that you have an opportunity because they give monthly. You have an opportunity. You also have a responsibility to stay in front of them. I think that, Jonathan, I don't know how big or how small of a shop you run, but like a new monthly giver, I mean, they deserve a phone call, right? They deserve a handwritten thank you. Any opportunity that you can use to extend your thankfulness, but then keep them up to speed with the work that you're doing. They should get the volunteer spotlight emails and all that good stuff. Yeah, I love it. Perfect. Yeah, fantastic. Jonathan, those people, can still get a handwritten note. They can all get phone calls. We had another friend on, Christy Jeffries, that created a $600,000 a year recurring giving program. And she said, I stopped writing handwritten notes at 400. So it's like I had to automate it from there. You know what I mean? So I think hey, listen, if your donors are a little bit on the older side, in the best possible way, because I am one, I'm old school, man. Pick up the phone. Use the most powerful fundraising tool that you have. I will also say, though, that fundraising is not getting easier. Staying in front of people is of utmost importance. And hey, the older demographic they're on the socials and they're looking at emails and all that good stuff. finding out what hits, home with them. But I think you should do it all. I'm a big fan of, picking up the phone, engaging, and saying thank you. A huge fan of that. So staying in front of them, I think, is absolutely paramount in that regard. But they should get everything. They should get the handwritten notes. They should get the emails, social posts, phone calls, the whole nine. If you're at 300, fantastic. You can still do that. So really good. Love the monthly giving conversation. We've been having that for a while now, thanks to our esteemed guest, Dave Raley, who just came on the live webinar. And then, Sandy put up the YouTube video that we just recorded with him. So, and we've done multiple episodes with Dave. He's amazing. Follow him for sure for more info. If you have unsold silent auction items, how can you incorporate them into your live auction to sell them and help you raise more money? If you have unsold silent, we just had this conversation. I want to say, obviously, with a couple of auctioneers. Sandy, maybe you could help me. We did a 6-part series about this, and we were talking about how to utilize. We've done a lot of episodes, so forgive me. We were just talking about how you could grab unsold silent auction items at an event and then sell them as impromptu live auction items. Was that with our friends the Murads? Anyway, that was just a conversation that we had. You can absolutely incorporate unsold silent auction items into your live auction as impromptu items to help you raise more money just by going over to the silent auction table and shining a light on it and talking about it and what have you. I'm a big fan of also using the silent auction to test for future live auction items as well. So I'm a big fan of asking questions. We love surveys. We've been saying that for years. Our guests have been saying that for years, and we adopt that same practice. Ask, what folks would like to see in the silent auction, the live auction. I'm a huge fan of using the silent auction as a proving ground, a testing ground for future live auction items as well, in letting the market tell you what they're bidding, with donors and attendees bidder behavior, right? And then what's cool about the silent auction as well is that there's no exposure. I'm explaining this and using this illustration with consignment items like ours. There's no exposure. There's no upfront cost. If the item doesn't sell, you're out nothing. If you do put items like ours into your silent auction, trips and experiences, we have all sorts of different strategies there too, making sure that the opening bid amount is above the reserve price, typically 25%. So the minute you get a bid, you're in the money. You can sell silent auction consignment items more than once to underbidders as well. So all sorts of fun opportunities there with the silent auction. But like I said, I'm not butchering that, but we had some guests come on recently and talk about selling silent auction items in the live auction just as an impromptu way to raise more money. So I hope that helps. I'm kind of coloring outside the lines a little bit on that one, but very passionate about the silent auction and the opportunity that's there. So good. Another question, and here's another call for more questions, please. This is fun. Is a pre-event raffle or sweepstakes worth doing? I absolutely think that these things are worth doing. I'm a big fan of getting money in the door before the event happens. So let's use the golden ticket strategy, like our favorite thing of all time, that can work for just about any organization. And selling tickets pre-event and announcing the winner at the event, for instance, absolutely, yes, more than worth doing. You kind of missing the boat if you don't do it. It's a giant missed opportunity, right? So love that. Love the price point of these things like sweepstakes and golden tickets. Very passionate about it. Sandy, do us a favor. Any kind of episode we've done about the golden ticket, a link to the golden ticket from the website. Check it out. Love the golden ticket. Love the strategy. You don't just have to use ours, although our golden ticket opportunities are amazing. They do really well. They're super turnkey, super easy to use. All the media comes with it. And yes, love the idea of pre-event raffles and sweepstakes because you can get money in the door before your doors even open. So a lot of success. Oh, Sandy, the golden ticket episode that we did with Brittany Pilcher from Quest Inc., where they sold out of tickets in 72 hours before they even opened their doors. That is a great episode about the golden ticket. We did a great golden ticket episode with our friend Trisha Brower and Dean Crownover. So good. Yeah. Sorry, Sandy. I'm like, put that link up, put this link up. But yeah, so much goodness about the golden ticket and pre-event dollars on our YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. And then also any other calls for questions. Sandy's on it, or she's going to pop up another question. But yeah, any other questions that anyone else has at the moment while let's see. The best way to use a vacation station. Ooh. The vacation station is a really cool moniker that we've created. I think Jason created it. Like people call it a super silent. We call it a vacation station. The best way to use it, number one, get it sponsored. Get the super silent, get the vacation station sponsored. And, that's a whole nother topic of how many different things that we can get sponsored or underwritten. Get the vacation station sponsored or underwritten by a sponsor, a supporter, maybe even someone that can't buy a table. So first and foremost, I'm big on branding. The best way to use it is to name it, get it underwritten, get it sponsored. And then we did an episode about the vacation station. We did a really cool webinar. I believe it was called A Better Way to Sell an Auction. And it was awesome. We did it with Jason, where we talk about the vacation station. Our approach is no less than 6, no more than 10 HGA fundraising trips and experiences. You have boards. Ours have QR code technology. You promote the items pre-event. Obviously, we have videos and descriptions. You upload them onto your auction software, on your auction site, and make sure that the opening bid amount is 25% above the reserve price cost for the item itself. And then, I think from there, it's going to be pay attention to the bidding behavior, bidding increments. Big fan of $100 bidding increments. So I'll get in the nitty gritty. An item has a $2,500 reserve price. Opening bid amount's going to be $3,000. $100 bidding increments. The minute you get a bid, you're in the money. You're profitable. If you get no bids, there's no exposure. You're out nothing because the item doesn't cost anything. You've put it on the vacation station. Let's just say you get a winning bid for the $2,500 item to Tuscany, and the winning bid's $4,100. And then you have underbidders at $4,000, $3,900. I say meet them all where they're at and offer them all the item at their last bid amount. Meet them where they're at. That is a great way to use the vacation station. Make it fun. And it's a proving ground for future live auction items. Things you're just like, I'm not sure if Iceland would sell in our live auction. Put it in the vacation station. No less than 6 items, no more than 10. Fantastic. Watch the money come in. I think it's a great way to add bottom line dollars to your silent auction. A lot of people want to thumbs down. I'm not going to use curse terms. A lot of people want to thumbs down the silent auction. It's very, very frothy to do so. I think it's just because it's so darn time consuming to procure. Of course, you don't want your team to turn into travel agents with, donated items and this and that and vacation homes and all that. So make it, very, very user friendly, make it very very easy on your time. So you can focus on getting sponsors, getting the right people in the room, all the above. Vacation station is just such a great turnkey opportunity, and we love it. And we love the silent auction. So really, really fun. So, a question: how do you build and manage a fundraising committee that actually shows up? We've had this conversation a lot. It's a great question. Whoever submitted it, thank you so much. How do you build and manage a fundraising committee that actually shows up? So, the best that we've seen that do it actually have like a standard, like an SOP for their committee, where it's like clear, concise, precise, systematized approach to, all right, this is what this is your role. This is what we're going to do. This is what you do. And, all the way down to, it's like, it kind of bleeds into like how you work with your board as well. It's like giving folks all the tools they need to be successful, like all the way down to like what to say. This is how we do it. Just having a plan, having a very, very clear, concise SOP about this is how we operate as the committee. and laying out clear expectations early, often, and making sure that everyone can say the same thing the same way. Like, this is what we're raising money for. Like, we love the mission marketing message is everyone's on the same page. And if you put a microphone in front of everyone on the committee and said, what are we here to do? And they all say the same thing, that's where you should start, and then grow from there, right? So it's everyone's on the same page. Build and manage. The management piece is making sure you have the right people in the right seats too, right? So not being afraid to have an uncomfortable conversation. And if someone's not hitting the marks and the metrics that you've laid out early, then maybe they need to do a different, have a position, a different position, or have a different role on the committee or what have you. The management piece is another really cool thing that pops into mind, is also managing that committee for future events by always making sure that you're meeting new people that could be potential great committee members. So someone that's a friend of a current committee member, or a friend of a board member, or someone that just came to your event for the first time, but they were really outgoing and really vocal about it later, and obviously had a heart for the work that you do. Things like that you can tell are palpable. Those people make great future committee members. So management also bleeds into making sure that you have a pipeline of future committee members that can have a lasting impact on your event, on the work that you're doing. Big fan of that. So always make sure that you are, kind of like keeping the application doors open, right? For committee members to come on board and be a part of what you do moving forward. Oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Thanks. Absolutely, Elise. She'll be talking more about committees, yes, and boards, yes, on June 4th. Absolutely. The Ask More series. I teased that. I don't get my dates perfect sometimes because we do a lot of shows, but we do have some really cool series coming in on the Hey Nonprofits live shows every Thursday, like this one, or at this time, I should say. And Elise is coming on June 4th for part 1 of our Ask series. Ask more. Ask more out of your boards, your committees, all that good stuff. Elise, pop something in the chat. Did I do a decent job there with that impromptu answer? I'm always a big fan of, like, we need to know what we're doing, and like make it very, very clear early. Anything else that you can add to like tease the episode we're doing on June 4th? Yeah, clarity. Absolutely. Lead with clarity. Yeah. Clear over clever. Our friend of the episode, Kevin Brown, said that, and it stuck with me. It was so poignant when I heard him say it. Clear over clever. Clarity is awesome. He's also, I found myself saying this yesterday to someone on a pod where, Kevin was like, what the hell does stewardship even mean? And so I asked someone that used the term stewardship over and over again in a rapid fire, in a rapid fire way. I was like, give me another word for stewardship, because like a lot of us are like, that's just basic communication, right? It's like what we were just talking about, John, with like the monthly givers. Is like, they gave, basic communication. Thank them. You know what I mean? Let's get it from 300 to 3,000. You know what I mean? We'll figure out how to automate it later, right? So Elise says, if you don't have a fundraising plan or event plan yet, that's the first task to put the committee on so they can have a plan. Advocacy. Absolutely. I love it. I'm really curious, too, Elise, I want to get your feedback too. Like, we call it the missions marketing message, and like sales, you would call it the elevator pitch, right? It's like, can you say what you do in 10 words or less? And if everyone on the committee can do that, you're cooking with chicken grease, they call it, right? So it's like you're moving in the right direction. Really, really good. Hey, cool. All right, I love this. We got a great question, probably from like the live YouTube, it looks like. Very, very cool. All right. Is it okay to have some of your most expensive auction items in your silent auction, or will that take away from the live? Also, what's your workout regimen these days? What are you training for? Okay. Hey, is it okay to have some of your most expensive auction items in your silent auction? Yes, absolutely it is. And we've mentioned this, or I've mentioned this probably like 6 times already. It's a great proving ground for future live auction items, because you can only have so many, right? Like, we're not a fan of, necessarily having 300 silent auction items, but if that's what you do, more power to you. And if it works, great. It's just a lot of time. love the idea of testing and utilizing the opportunity that you have for higher end items in the silent auction. No, it will not take away from the live auction. Of course, if we're all in the same, we're not talking about the same destinations. We don't want to cannibalize, right? As long as that's understood. So, also, what's interesting, what we're seeing and have been seeing as a trend, a fundraising pattern, is items are selling in the silent auction at a much higher these higher reserve price items, these higher ticket items, trips and experiences, like in our world, have been selling really, really well, not just in the live auction, but in the silent auction as well. So what's cool about that is you're also giving folks, I hear this so often, you're giving folks that might be first time attendees, potential long-term advocates, supporters, donors, could become lifelong supporters. You're giving them an opportunity to spend big dollars at your event. Let's just say you have the $5,000 reserve price, consignment item in your silent auction, and someone puts a bid down for $9,000. They've never been to your event before. This happens a lot in the silent auction and the live auction. They were probably not going to give you $9,000 in the fund of need. Okay, cool. Could they one day? Absolutely. It's up to you to make sure that you build that relationship. But if someone, even if they didn't even win the item, and they put down a bid for $9,000 in your silent auction or live auction, you just identified a $9,000 level giver. How hard does your development team work to identify $9,000 your major gifts team? How hard do they work to find a $9,000 level giver, right? Which you could do with items, at your event. I just think there's so much strategy that we're missing at events with that. So that's really, really cool. But yeah, we're seeing high ticket items sell in the silent auction. And it's great to see because they're raising a ton of money. So also workout regimen these days. Today I've already got a 5K in, a little hilly 5K, because I'm just feeling spry and well rested. So today was a hilly 5K. I will get on the bike for 90 minutes this afternoon. Hopefully, it's going to be a beautiful day in far Northern California. Workout regimen is kind of like this: take it as it comes. I was traveling, and my wife is running like 5 days a week. I've never seen her so fit before. Awesome. So she came with me to AFP Icon, and we were hanging out in San Diego, and we got to run together. So it was like, hey, got a chance to like go get in the gym, get a quick warm up, little lift, and then go run with my wife for like 3 or 4 miles. That's been the regimen, just kind of taking it as it comes. It's hard to do that when you're traveling. I got some more traveling to do here in the not too distant future. So just making sure I get it in. You know what I mean? That's been the training regimen. Making sure I get it in, making sure I'm making good choices with my food. And I got back on the Whoop train. So I got a Whoop and was tracking my sleep in 2020. I did it for like 4.5 years. I don't have it with me right now. I left it on my bathroom counter this morning. But I've been really, really tracking my sleep. I saw someone recently online say, use the term protect your sleep. And so I've been, I'm going to be 46 years old here really soon. So I've been going out of my way to, take it down a notch at night, not imbibe late, not eat late, and really, really protect my sleep. So that's been a really, really part of my interesting part of my regimen. And then tracking it and kind of getting lost in the data with that. So that's been really, really cool. I am not training for anything right now. I'm training for life. We have so much going on and so much in front of us with what we're building. Our team is building some amazing things, this beautiful family business at HGA Fundraising and the Hey Nonprofits Network, and all the irons in the fire that I'm just trying to train and stay fit and, feel good. When I do train, I do feel good about myself, and making sure my cup's full that way. I also noticed that when I do get out, I have some of my best thoughts as well. So that's what I'm training for. Right now I'm training for life. So that's a long answer, but you got me going because you asked me about training. So thanks for the question. From TJ, what's the best way to approach a corporation for sponsorship, and what do they actually want in return? The best way to approach a corporation for sponsorship is to make sure that they align with the work that you do. I think that's really, really good. It's like there's a hierarchy of importance, I think, for sure. But we've had some really, really great. We just had, the gals from National MS Society, Nikki and Kristen on last week about it. They're, sponsorship leviathans. They're giant fundraisers. They're awesome. So they do a really great job there. But making sure that you've done your research and that information is out there, and to see, hopefully where this corporation has given, who they've given to in the past, and making sure that y'all align. I think that's really, really important. That there's context and clarity. I think that's really, really huge. What do they actually want in return? I, absolutely think that you should have that conversation by asking them. Not like esoteric, like, tell me what this looks like for you, but very, very deliberate. It's like, hey, listen, this is what we're building. You have some experience with this organization. Tell me about what worked. You know what I mean? Don't like use some like actual like, hard, experience and some proof that you have, as opposed to like, hey, here's a blank canvas, go be Picasso, right? Like that kind of thing. But I think being very, very deliberate with that dialogue. I think that there's a lot of organizations that are probably going after the same corporate sponsors. And I think differentiation is stronger than competition. I think one of the best ways to go about it is by being different. Your pace, your attentiveness, the way you thank them, for their time, the way you respect their time. I think there's a lot of intangibles involved as well. Yeah, and also not being afraid to ask for more than you're even comfortable with. But think about, instead of asking, think about it as an invitation. So all the boxes have been checked, as opposed to asking and all those feelings that come along with it, which I totally get. It gets people very, very uncomfortable to ask others for money. You're in front of these people for a reason, typically, when you take these meetings and when they take these meetings. So be confident, but I think that reframing it as an invitation. I'm a big believer with these situations to create a partnership. I have spoken to organizations in my town where I've met with their board, and they've gotten sponsors from corporations, foundations, and big checks. And I said, recently, I said, when was the last time you spoke to that foundation? They said 2 years. And they had written I want to say like a $40,000 check that got this org, just like over the hump. And I'm like, you're looking for another $40,000 level, sponsor, or whatever the number might be right now. But you haven't even talked to the one that gave you $40,000 2 years ago. And listen, I sound like I'm pissed about it. I'm just passionate about it because, it's like, that's not a partnership. It's like, I took the check, we did the work that you have obligation, a responsibility. There's so much more there too that you can unlock by creating this partnership. I'm a big fan of like keeping folks in the know, because like that's probably normal practice for a lot of folks, right? Like, got the check, okay, cool, blah blah blah. Well, it's also common practice that for them to experience that too. But what's not common is when you just like, you're not like annoying, but you're in front of them going, hey, look what we did. Hey, can't thank you enough. Oh my gosh, sharing this image. Hey, look, look who I'm with. Oh, we did this, with the money. Oh my gosh. Just treat these people like they're partners. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. Oh man, it's crazy to me. They're investors. They want you to succeed. So yeah, sorry for TJ, kind of went on one there, but yeah. Treat this like a partnership that you want. Who wants a partnership to end? No one wants a partnership to end, right? Like, it's like, I say this thing all the time. It's like, did anyone ever tell you, or did anyone ever say, I wish I was less patient in that moment? Has anyone ever told you, yeah, I want this partnership to end? No one has ever said that. Like, hey, listen, if it's bad and it's toxic down the line. Sure, things end and they become evident over time, right? Okay, I got that, right? But no one goes into a partnership hoping that it ends, right? Like that's never anyone's intention. So yeah, I think having a longer view mindset about that too, and starting that, that partnership, that relationship that way, I think is a great way to approach a corporation. Hey, we look to partner with people. You know what I mean? We align. This is what's up. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So I think it's good. Okay, a last call for questions. We got a couple more minutes. Mary S., if you could only give one piece of advice to a nonprofit that's been struggling to grow their fundraising, what would it be? Have an honest conversation and ask yourself why. I've got a few pieces of advice. I think be honest with yourself. I think do an audit. Why? Why are you struggling to grow? It's not like it's a abstract question or anything like that, but like if you could only give one piece of advice to a nonprofit that's been struggling to grow their fundraising, what would it be? I would have an honest conversation. Uh, um, you need to grow, or you can't keep your doors open, right? The needs of most organizations grow over time. The needs of its constituents, the people that it serves, grows over time. So if your fundraising doesn't grow, one piece of advice, I guess this will be two. Ask for more. Ask for more. Make sure that these relationships that you have with folks that have given are partnerships, and that you're doing everything that you can to foster them. You can grow your fundraising with folks that it's oh, hey, another piece of advice: don't focus on new. We do a really, really bad job in our space of focusing on new. And if you have done any fundraising, you have people that have given. I would say there's nothing wrong with getting new people on board. You can do that very easily by focusing on the ones that you already have. We had a very, very great episode with a friend, Julie Ordonez, um, who said, it's like, you don't need new. Focus on the folks you already have. If you've done a bad job of communicating, tell them that. She lays out this beautiful example. She's like, I did a bad job. I haven't spoken to you in a year. You wrote us a check for X amount. I did a bad job. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen again. And this is what we're doing to change it. Have an honest conversation with people that have given to you. I think that's, and don't be afraid to ask for more. I think that's hopefully a good piece of advice. Elise, clarify the mission and get focused on communicating it to your community. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we keep coming back to that, right, Elise? I think that's awesome and can't be overstated. What do you do? Get it down, get everybody that has anything to do with your organization on the same page where everyone can say what we do in 10 words or less to anyone that asks. It's like, hey, we're HGA Fundraising. We help nonprofits raise more money. Oh, cool. How do you guys do that? Well, we have the most profitable auction items in fundraising. We've got a great team. And we've got this awesome Hey Nonprofits network that we started where we put our best information out for free because, we've been in, we were in over 2,000 events in 2025 alone, and who knows what's going to happen in 2026. So all this data and all these great relationships, and it's like, but once again, back to the beginning, we're HGA Fundraising. We help nonprofits raise more money. If someone goes, oh, cool, how do you do that? Fantastic. You heard my response. And if they go, oh, okay, that's fun. Carrying on. It's okay. Right? But that, like you said, the clarity of the message, Elise, is great. And get focused on communicating it to your community. Absolutely. Yeah. Mary S., I hope that helped. I think I'm going to stick to it. Actually, I gave you a couple is I think you should focus on the people that are right in front of you and see what's there and get some feedback from them and ask for more. I think that's it. Sandy, does that conclude the Ask Us Anything? Join us next week. Yes. Okay. Our friends, Livia and Chris from C2 Auctions. Awesome. This will be really, really good. From registration to standing ovation, the event experience. Really, really cool. We've been putting this one in the works for a while. Really, really cool. Looking forward to it. You'll be able to sign up quickly and get the join link. I think we'll send it to everybody via email, obviously, and it's all on the social channels and all that good stuff. Sandy popped in a link to the website, HGA Fundraising, if you need the most profitable auction items in fundraising for your next fundraising event. The golden ticket, pre-event dollars, the silent auction, vacation station, live auction, the paddle drop, all these cool revenue enhancers. Check out HGA Fundraising. We're really, really proud of what we built and what the team continues to build at HGA Fundraising, and appreciate all the great questions. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, live attendees, all that. Oh, thanks, Barb. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And I appreciate your question. And thanks, everybody, for coming. And we'll see you all next Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us for anything. Leave a comment, a question in YouTube, LinkedIn, all the above. And don't be afraid to smash that subscribe button, and we'll keep the good content coming.